Well, hello everyone. I'm Bishop Ackerman, and we've gotten to know each other quite well. In fact, there are about 1,000 of you watching, either live or in delay, given all the time zones around the world, in about 13 different countries right now. And many of you actually are friends of mine, but I think over the last few weeks we really have become friends, haven't we, in a variety of ways. And so I want to thank you for taking time out this morning. Most of you are accustomed to zooming in at 9:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, but our situation right now is that we are in a different location this morning, and I have a favor of you. I'm going to ask you to do something for me in about an hour. I want you to come back on in an hour. We'll explain what's happening, and when you come back on, you are going to be able to participate in the Holy Tuesday Mass. And I want to introduce to you somebody very special to me and to so many people, because many of you haven't had a chance to meet the Diocesan Bishop of the Diocese of Fort Worth, the Right Reverend Ryan S. Reed, who is the 4th Bishop of Fort Worth, if you can imagine. And we're here right by his office in the chapel named St. Leo's, which is in part a way of acknowledging the wonderful 3rd Bishop of Fort Worth with the wonderful 4th Bishop of Fort Worth at this time, Bishop Jack Leo Eicher. And we think he's probably checking in today. And so, Bishop Eicher, we're so excited that the Lord has his hand upon you and that you are being healed so well. Well, Bishop Reed, what were you doing a year ago about right now when we were having a Chrism Mass?
A year ago, we would have been at the cathedral, prepping for about 80 priests and deacons to show up to renew their vows and to watch the bishop bless the oils at the Chrism Mass. Typically, this would take place at the cathedral, but under these times, of course, things are different. So we do welcome all of you and hope you will tune back in at 10:30 as we celebrate the Eucharist and bless the oils that we use during the year. Bishop Ackerman will be offering a meditation for us on the use of oils and their purpose, and I do hope you come back and join us.
Oh, that's wonderful. But looking at your life 1 year ago, you just explained what would have been normal, but you had a change in where you sit.
Yes.
So this time last year, you had no idea you were going to be elected a bishop.
Correct. Yes, God has a great sense of humor. He's also in control, and he is sovereign, and we give thanks for that. Yes, a year ago, well, for all of us, things are now different.
Yes.
But certainly for me and for my family, serving as the 4th Bishop of Fort Worth is a great blessing. Obviously had no idea it would be under these circumstances. And, you know, it's amazing. The last 2 or 3 days I've learned about Dropbox. Last week and 2 weeks ago I learned about Zoom meetings. 3 weeks ago I learned about Facebook Live and FaceTiming. You know, these are all new things for all of us. But, you know, it's a way for God to keep us connected as the church and as the body of Christ, and even under these circumstances. So we give thanks for him, and we do. I am excited about my first Chrism Mass as a bishop. Obviously next year will be under much different circumstances with all of the clergy gathered. I hope we continue this, though, so we can invite others into what we're celebrating and what we're doing.
I think that's brilliant, Bishop. And goodness gracious, when we think about the personal changes in your life since this time last year, having to move into a new house, being consecrated, elected first, and then consecrated bishop, and then being enthroned as the diocesan bishop, and here we are. So I think I know the answer to this question. Do you think you will always remember your first Chrism Mass?
Absolutely. And what's more, I'll be able to go back and look on Facebook Live and watch it over and over again for the next 20 or 30 years.
You absolutely will.
One day we'll all be able to come back together and shake hands and give hugs. And right now, of course, as Christians, we're modeling what it means to love by staying at home and by washing our hands. And I do think a time is coming when, like the great heroes of our faith, Gregory the Great and St. Francis and even Martin Luther, we'll be called to minister to the sick and to the dying and to the grieving. But right now, we're doing the best we can in this circumstance to model what it means to love, and that, of course, is staying at home and social distancing and all of the new terms that we've now learned in the last 3 months, 2 months.
Well, aren't you glad we learned all that in seminary?
I guess.
One of the things that we find out, everybody, along the way is seminaries can't teach everything, obviously. But who would have guessed? How many years ago did you graduate from seminary?
23, 24?
24, and I 46 years ago. So with that being said, what we've just said, if we had turned back the clock, but then we were listening to what we two just said, we would maybe recognize the faces, but we wouldn't understand the language that was being spoken.
Right.
None of those terms existed back then. But you know, the one thing that has not changed is Jesus Christ is Lord. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So do me a favor, welcome, if you will, Bishop Reed to your devices. And the next thing that I would ask you to do is at 10:30, which is approximately 50 minutes from now, would you tune back in? Once again, if you're tuning in right now, this is not the Mass that we have every day at 9:30. This is us getting ready for a very important Mass an hour later, which is called the Chrism Mass. And once again, thank you, Bishop Reed, for taking time out to greeting your new friends, family, and people throughout the world and also locally.
God bless you.